This is 16 WAPT News at 10. Built around you.
Tonight at 10, computers, bikes, and jewelry. Why the city of Jackson's latest auction includes more than just cars.
September 11th, 8 years later, still seared in America's consciousness. I'm Lindsay Davis from Ground Zero. Coming up, the heroes, the events, and victims remembered.
This is a 16 WAPT News Tropical Storm Fred update.
And Tropical Storm Fred is weakening as we continue through time. Let's check it out on Live Storm Shield 16. Only maximum sustained winds at 60 miles per hour, moving to the east-northeast at 2. Over the week, I'm expecting this to become a depression. Now, right now on our radar, we're only seeing a few showers in the area, but we do have more in store for us for the weekend. I'll have your forecast all coming up.
Thanks, Heather. Tomorrow, the city of Jackson will open its evidence vault up for auction for the first time. That means you could take home bikes or even computers for cheap. 16 WAPT's Heather Sophia got a sneak peek at the items for sale.
Tomorrow, the city of Jackson will have another car auction. That's where you can bid on anything from a GMC to a Chevrolet to a Dodge. But here's the twist.
Thanks, Heather. Now, the car auction begins at 9 in the morning, and like Heather said, if you want a shot at everything else, you can actually sleep in a little bit. That auction begins at 11 a.m. Well, tonight, 2 faulty fire hydrants in South Jackson are working again. A man's home burned to the ground Tuesday because there was no water pressure in the hydrants. The Jackson Fire Department's accountable for inspecting hydrants and telling the Public Works which ones need to be repaired. But Public Works said they didn't know about the faulty hydrants until after the fire. Thursday, Hobson appealed to Jackson Mayor Harvey Johnson for help.
Mr. Harvey Johnson, I have voted you in. I never talked with you since you've been elected, but I would say, Mayor Harvey Johnson, please send some help.
Now, the mayor was out of town, but a city spokesman gave us this statement. We've had several conversations with Mr. Hobson. We'll be meeting with him today to offer any assistance available. Hobson confirmed he was contacted by someone with the city, but he's not sure what type of help or when it will come. New information tonight about the former head of the Salvation Army in Jackson. Major John Showers was removed from his post last week. Tonight, 16 WAPT News confirmed that a complaint was brought to the Salvation Army in Paris, Texas, involving Showers. The complaint was concerning an incident that allegedly happened 15 years ago. No criminal charges were ever filed. Officials with the national office wouldn't say exactly why Showers was removed, except that it was a personnel decision. Another Mississippian has died from swine flu. The state health department reports a Washington County woman is the latest victim. That brings the state's total number of deaths to 3. There have been 723 reported cases of swine flu in Mississippi, according to the health department. The 2 other deaths were reported in Hancock and Jackson counties. And the swine flu is affecting a number of schools in the area. There are now 484 probable cases of the swine flu in Mississippi State, 44 probable cases in the Clinton School District. That's actually down from 145 last week. And there are 20 probable cases in the Vicksburg-Warren School District. Health officials say the flu is circulating earlier this year, with nearly all the infections being swine flu. The highest concentration of cases are in our part of the country. The flu bug has not been a welcome opponent for 2 football teams in the state. In Jackson, the Jackson Academy Raiders had 26 players out sick at one point this week, but tonight we're without just 1 starter against MRA. And in Oxford, the Ole Miss Rebels are getting some much-needed rest. They were off from practice today and won't work out again until Sunday. At last count, 30 players for Ole Miss were dealing with the flu. A new number on sick players will be released Sunday. If you'll be out on the roadways the next few days, watch out for workers. There are a lot of projects slated for the weekend. Starting tonight at 10, crews will be repaving I-55 north to I-20 westbound ramp. The northbound entrance ramp will be closed there. Starting at midnight, road work will stretch from I-20 east to I-55 southbound. There will be only 1 lane open both ways. And finally, from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. tomorrow, I-20 westbound to State Street will be closed. Today, the State Board of Education recognized Caleb Yules. He's the football player who took a gun from a 14-year-old girl on a school bus. This is the 3rd time Yules has been awarded for his heroism. Lucille Body was driving the school bus when chaos erupted. The State Board honored her, too. 8 years ago tonight, thousands were dead after the worst terror attacks in U.S. history, known ever after simply as 9/11. ABC's Lindsay Davis is at Ground Zero in New York City tonight, where everyone is remembering 9/11.
Lindsay Davis, ABC News, New York.
Now, the cable news network, you probably know it as CNN, is under fire tonight. Around 10 o'clock today, the news outlet was reporting the Coast Guard was firing on a boat near the Pentagon, where President Obama had just spoken at a September 11th ceremony. That's his motorcade on the bridge there. The Coast Guard soon clarified it was just a training exercise with simulated radio calls. The White House is criticizing CNN for not confirming the report before it aired, but CNN defends its coverage, saying they made several calls and not to report the story would have been irresponsible. Ahead, 2 local high school teams team up to make a wish come true for a 3-year-old boy, and the results are in. Surprising answers to questions about the gender of a South African runner. But first.
And here's the forecast on the Jackson State game for the weekend. We're expecting to see a few showers early in the game, temperatures into the lower 80s. That game takes place at Memphis at 6 o'clock. What about the weather here in central Mississippi? I'll have your forecast coming up. Mid-80s. But I tell you, we've got a new winner for the Food for Families.
That's right.
It's where the schools, they compete, and it's where schools compete to raise the most canned goods to donate to the program. Well, this week, Forest Hill High School collected more than 3,300 cans. Way to go. Food for Families is a collaboration between our station and the Mississippi Food Network. And I was out there tonight. I can tell you it was humid, but I was so glad to see that they donated so many cans.
That's right.
And it's for a good cause.
It all for such a good cause, and those will be given to the kitchen later on this year.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Heather.
Anytime.
Well, a trip to Disney World. That's what a 3-year-old boy with a heart defect wanted more than anything. Today, students from Brandon High School and Northwest Rankin High School worked with the Make-A-Wish Foundation to make this little boy's dream come true. 16 WAPT's photojournalist James Foster was there. And we have great news tonight. John Allen is going to Disney World at halftime tonight. The Key Clubs for Brandon and Northwest Rankin announced they exceeded their fundraising goal of $5,000 toward an Allen family trip to see Mickey Mouse. They actually raised over $5,400. Still to come, another twist in the Chris Brown-Rihanna domestic violence case. Why 2 cops are actually in trouble. Plus, the results are in the case of a South African runner accused of lying about her gender. Find out why the answer raises even more questions. You're watching 16 WAPT News at 10. Now, some Oklahoma parents had quite a scare this morning. Look at this video. 40 kids were on board the bus when it ran off there. Police say just before 8 o'clock this morning, the driver lost a tire, then lost control of the bus, plunged through a fence and hit a tree. Good news, though, everyone's expected to be okay, and none of the students needed to go to the hospital. Tonight, 2 Los Angeles police officers are under investigation for their alleged part in the Rihanna-Chris Brown drama. The LA Police Department put the 2 officers on paid leave while they try to figure out who leaked this photo of a battered Rihanna to TMZ.com. The photo shows a bruised and bloodied singer, and it was taken not long after her fight with Brown the night before the Grammy Awards last February. Attorneys for both officers say their clients are innocent and didn't even have access to the pictures. The Space Shuttle Discovery landed at Edwards Air Force Base in Southern California earlier tonight after weather forced the crew to scrap 2 landings in Florida. Discovery's 2-week mission was a unique one. It dropped off several tons of supplies and equipment for the International Space Station. It also carried a $5 million treadmill named after Comedy Central's Stephen Colbert. Well, calling signals is a part of every football game, but there's one signal you won't find at some NFL games this season, a TV signal. The economy's hurting ticket sales, and that's leaving many fans out of the picture. ABC's Deanna Alviar explains.
The Jacksonville Jaguars have yet to play. Diana Alviar, ABC News.
Well, the results are back in tonight in the case of the South African runner accused of lying about her gender. Questions were raised about Caster Semenya after she blew away the competition in a Women's World Championships racing event. She was ordered to undergo tests to see if she really is a woman. Now, here's the confusing part. The test results show she is both a woman and a man, having both male and female sexual characteristics. She will get to keep her medals. Week 4 of high school football season arrives, and for the JA Raiders, the question was, could they beat the flu and MRA? Kristen has the highlights next.
Now, 16 Sports with Christian Steckel.
Happy Friday, everybody. And that means one thing. High school football and Blitz 16 presented.
All right, thanks, Christian. Heather has another check of the weather when we come back. One last check with Heather.
And there's just a few showers out there. We can look on our radar right now, and most of this showers are down to the south and west. In Natchez, light showers. I'm expecting most of this to die down as the sun sets, but I'm expecting some more rain in the forecast on our 7-day forecast. It's a soggy setup for our weekend, so make sure to have the umbrella handy. And if you're having some plans outside for some college football or some NFL football, you want to make sure to get some indoor plans for the weekend because it's going to be wet.
Sounds good to me. Thank you, Heather, and thank you for watching. We'll see you right back here tomorrow at 10.